Spawning right here in the top left-hand corner, playing with the blue Protoss pieces. From the United States of America, we have Astrea. His opponent in the opposite corner, playing with the red Zerg drones from South Korea. We're looking at Dark's main hatchery. Dark going for what seems to be a 15 supply hatch on the low ground. Okay, so that means that the Protoss here is not gonna be able to block him. Now, I'm actually very excited to record this video here today. I just got back home yesterday, so the videos that you've been, well, hopefully at the very least, that you've been watching on my YouTube channel over the last week, maybe the last week and a half or so, I prepared those in advance because I just got back from Poland after casting PM Kijkwijzer, which was a $500,000 StarCraft 2 tournament, and basically, whilst I was away, I tried to prepare some videos in advance for every single day that I was gone, other than, I believe, one Sunday. I know. I'm slacking on the job. Anyways, I tried preparing as many videos as I could in advance, and those have been going up. Now, of course, that does mean that some of the games that I've been casting and some of the videos that I've been uploading, they are a little bit older, right? Some of them are, I know, hold your breath. Some of them are even like 2 weeks old. Some of them maybe even 3. That's always the question, right? How long is a StarCraft 2 game still relevant? I know there's some people out there that are like, well, if the game was played more than 2 days ago, I literally cannot watch it anymore, Lowko. If a video is that old, there's no way. And then there's people that are like, well, as long as it's the same patch, as long as it's been played in the last 4 months or so, I guess it's okay. I don't really know exactly what the right answer is. I just simply try to bring you the very best games of StarCraft 2 that I can, and I try to keep them at least somewhat current, but this particular match right here has been played very, very recently. As a matter of fact, when I booted up my computer this morning, somehow, some way, Windows had reset a bunch of my audio, which is very annoying. I don't really know exactly why Windows does that. I'm hoping everything is set up correctly here, as we do get the scouting probe tonight here. Okay. Anyways, yeah, I booted up my computer and all my audio settings were way off. Why does Windows do that? Can anybody tell me? I don't know. My computer had been off for like a week and a half. Maybe it did like a sneaky little update whilst I was away, or maybe overnight or something. I'm not exactly sure. But for some reason, my microphone input was way loud. And luckily, I caught it before I recorded this video. Because that would have sucked. Then I can probably throw it in the bin. Anyways. Oh yeah, the reason why I brought that up in the first place is because I booted up StarCraft 2. And I deleted all of the replays that were in my StarCraft 2 replays folder. So all of the games you're about to watch, at least moving forward for the foreseeable future, are going to be very, very recent. And we're starting off again with a good old Protoss versus Zerg. I love this matchup, as you probably know. I'm a massive fan of both of these players. Astrea known for his very, very aggressive and cheeky build orders, and this is one of them. Look at the third base timing. So the conventional time for a third is 3 minutes and 45 seconds. That's when it starts. This one is going to finish at that point in time. And this is Astrea very specifically playing against Dark. Dark, by the way, recently joining a new team, as you may have already noticed. He joined the Talon, so Talon Dark is apparently the nickname that he's playing under right now. Pretty cool, because it's been rumored for a long time that Dark is off to the military. And he's been able to successfully delay it for a very long time. Anyways, what exactly is the sacrifice that Astrea is making, right? So obviously, if he's going for such a quick third base, what exactly does he have to cut? Well, it's any sort of tech involving, for example, a Twilight Council, a Robo Facility, or a Stargate. He basically has had very few units and nothing really that could deflect a big group of Zerg up until this point in the game. As a matter of fact, it's the Twilight Council first right now. A very quick one, I guess, considering the timing of the third hatch, or the third Nexus over here, but it's, yeah, certainly not an opener where Protoss is gonna have an easy time defending against a large group of Zerg, and that's exactly what Dark is doing. Dark figured this out pretty late. He's only just now seeing exactly what he's going up against, and apparently he's decided to just rush a whole load of roaches and a whole load of Zerglings to watch the other side of the map. If he would have picked up on this earlier, I think he could have considered marching the Queens. Queen marches are very powerful against these sort of openers, but I mean, I don't hate this position actually for Astrea. Love the shield batteries here on the high ground. I was gonna say low ground, but that's not accurate. The army right here is on the low ground, and then the shield batteries should be able to keep these Protoss units alive. I mean, this is a scary attack, though. Every minute that goes by right now, Astrea's economy is booming, so he's going to be able to produce way more stuff. But Dark here is not looking to give Astrea the time of day. Now, I think even killing the third base is not going to be enough. He needs to do a lot of damage. Probes have been pulled immediately away from the mineral line. Battery overcharge. Apparently, we don't have energy for it, or at the very least, we're going to use it in the main base. That's in range? That's actually insane. I didn't think that that was going to all the way reach up there, but apparently he is going to be able to, at the very least, keep these stalkers alive. But already 12 probes have fallen. And this is, yeah, this is really only the first wave of the attacks here from Dark, because the man is just making more and more units. 4 seconds until that blink upgrade is done. Now he's going to be able to blink the units into the main base. Okay, that's nice and all. But that does, of course, also mean, well, that the third base is not protected. So loads of probes are going down, but I think the Nexus will live, at least for now. Drones coming up on the back of this for Dark, so he's not going fully all in. But did he deal enough damage? Let's have a look. So 18 probes, 50 Zerglings, only 2 Stalkers and an Adept, 3 Ravagers. I actually think this is fine. I think this is, yeah, all right here for Astrea, who, well, for a second he was thinking about making a 4th Nexus already. He is, I guess, sending out a scouting worker. So what he wants to know is how many workers there really are over at the third base. Yeah, and this is the confirmation that Astrea is going to be very happy about, because he sees right now that his opponent has got barely any economy. So despite the fact that, sure, he lost a lot of probes at home, he must have more workers at this stage in the game. He's got to be very careful, though, because what if Zerg once again goes for a big attack wave here? That probe, by the way, I thought it was going to be sent out across, but I guess the hallucinated Phoenix saw the mineral saturation there, so Astrea is going to loop it around instead. Okay. And I think he's going to bring the heat towards our Zerg. I love these openers, though, from the Protoss here, just because, I mean, it's very risky, right? But immediately it creates a very different dynamic in this matchup. Usually, I think that Dark is a player who's very good in chaotic situations, and he's very good at deciding what to do at the right time. But this is a weird spot right now. This is a situation that we haven't really seen before. So Robo Facility is going to finish up for Astrea. He may very well be producing a Warp Prism here, but I don't really know if he needs it. There's a proxy gateway coming up too, so this can always be used as a way to reinforce a big attack here. That's exactly what Astrea is going for. Large amount of Protoss units moving across the map. Okay. Mostly just trying to buy time. I think he probably should knock down these rocks, because going up this ramp is going to be tricky. Plus, with the rocks, you're going to be much closer here on the reinforcements. He did not actually go for charge, which is a bit of a surprise to me. I would have loved to see charge. It's only 100 minerals, 100 gas. It's not nearly as expensive as it once used to be. Yeah, a couple slow zealots right now trying to go for the quote-unquote wraparound. I don't really know we can call it that. No, they just sort of walked into... Yeah, I don't actually like this attack anymore. I think we should stop it, Astrea. Well, we did get up to the high ground at least. Problem is, +1 melee is finishing up. Sure, a lot of Zerglings have fallen in this game already, but Zerglings are relatively cheap, right? I mean, they're not quite free. I know a lot of Terrans and Protoss players out there think that they're free, but they do cost a little bit of cash, 25 minerals for each of them. +1 melee is very powerful, but I guess as long as the Zealots eventually, even without charge, make it to the front of this Protoss, this line, I guess it's okay. You gotta be so careful here, though, as Astrea, but well, he's gonna be able to grab the kill on that hatchery relatively easily, whilst also taking a 4th Nexus at the 12 o'clock position. Don't overstay your welcome, though, Astrea, because that's something we see go wrong so very frequently. So I think in his mind, as long as he's on the edge of creep, it's okay. My problem here is, say for example, suddenly there's a large influx of roaches coming around the back. It is very difficult for these Protoss units to escape, and at that point, I mean, fungal growth may also be an option here in a moment, as there are infestors coming for Dark. At that point, this game can become very tricky. He's still making slow zealots, by the way. Like, this is such a strange push. Why are we not making charge? Alright, we're gonna go for a prism. I guess he doesn't have a lot of gas, right? So, then again, he could be taking an extra gas geyser. I mean, we're oversaturated on our 3rd at this point in time. Very busy microing, of course, on the other side. Now the infestors are out. Fungal, big fungal. Oh my god. Well, that does not allow those Stalkers to use their blink ability. It inhibits while... Oh my god, another one. That ability is inhibited as long as they have that green goo on themselves, and that will allow Dark, I think, to push this back. Still no charge. Still not started. Love the Infestor here, by the way. Really cool. Now, one problem here for Dark, yeah, is, I was gonna say, he needs another hatchery. So he goes for the one over here where the Protoss army is not located. Another fungal is available. Infestor, though, in the back. Alright, it is gonna catch a few more of those very slow-moving Protoss units. Biles, okay, will ultimately knock them down, and... I guess this worked out okay. Yeah. So Astrea overextending. There was really no reason to stay there. I mean, the odds of you getting that base, it's very low, right? Because as soon as you're fighting on creep, then suddenly the queens can join in as well, and those Zerg reinforcements, they just arrive so much quicker. Now we're going for charge. Yeah, I think going double fortune charge a little earlier would have been the right call, especially because normally in this matchup, the Zerg player is the one with a base up on the Protoss, right? As soon as this game turned into 4 base Protoss versus 3 base Zerg, that's where Astrea should have just leaned into his economical advantage and just set back. There's really no reason to go too aggressive at that point in the game, because it's up to the Zerg to make a move. And obviously, if you're fighting close to the Zerg, the defending units for the Zerg are going to be closer. And then on top of that, you also just simply have the advantage of creep. Still a good situation, though, here for the American. Cost efficiency-wise, this is what we normally do not see in this matchup. Cost efficiency-wise, it's all in favor right now of Dark. Dark did go up into a hive. He's got the Adrenal Glands upgrade coming up, so that's basically Stimpak for Zerglings. Banelings are going to be getting their Roly-Poly upgrade too. Charge is going to finish up. There is a Disruptor available, but obviously with Hive, I would not mind seeing maybe like a Viper or two right here from Dark. Then again, he's seen them. Apparently he's not too concerned. Prism flying around at the bottom of the map. Ooh, okay, well that's another option. Ultralisk Cavern. I don't know if I love the Ultra Cavern here, to be honest. Yeah. So it's really strong when Protoss doesn't realize it's coming. But as soon as Astrea catches wind of this, I think he should just go for a few Immortals. And Immortals absolutely tear apart Ultralisk. So the main reason why I'm a little hesitant to call this a good decision is because of the +1 carapace, right? So the +1 carapace is only just now, maybe 70-ish% of the way done. Ultras really shine when they are fully upgraded as far as the armor goes. And this is a late second evolution chamber right here for our Zerg, so... yeah, this can backfire. Second robo facility coming up. Love to see it. Banelings, though, in the meantime, rolling past it. And that's going to be painful. Slow reaction right there from Astrea. He is going to get punished. In the meantime, Fungals also land in the middle of the map. Corrosive Biles on the back of it. 24 probes, also in the natural, end up falling. Zealots in the main base get warped in. They will at the very least see the timing right there of all of those upgrades and that additional tech right here from Dark. But this really threw a curveball in the plan of Astrea, who is just losing so much stuff. Okay, Fungal over there. Disruptors, though, trying to get some work done as well. Loads of drones are also dying. Astrea, during all that chaos, decided to go on the offense, which I can only compliment, but obviously there's a lot of ways in which that can go horribly wrong. APM-wise, oh my god, 433 average actions per minute right here by the Protoss. That's quite extreme. Disruptor balls, though, are being targeted down. Excellent play right here by Dark. Of course, that ability, that Purification Nova, it gets cancelled. Yeah, when you do snipe the unit before it falls, and ultimately, I think, yeah, this is pretty good here for Dark. Once again, I mean, it's mostly because he dealt so much damage on the other side of the map, right? He did lose 18 workers just now as well. Those were the first 18 workers that were killed in this match. Okay, big Zealot walk by, actually. Not bad at all. If it can kill the hatchery, Queen's on the high ground. Just like those shield batteries from earlier. Able to apparently reach the hatch. Moves that we don't generally see very often, but apparently it is something you can do. I think a few probes may have just died over here as well. I tried to say dying and fallen at the same time. Yeah, they just died. Alright. I got a very fancy English accent all of a sudden. Okay. Astrea, he is, yeah, once again going up against the Zerg, who's re-droning. Ultras do not have their armor upgrades yet. Chitinous plating, not yet done. But, of course, they still deal quite a bit of damage. I think Stalkers, though. Look at this, okay? Look at that Ultra. Oh, well, never mind. It burrowed on the ground immediately. Yeah, Ultras without armor, pretty terrible. No observers, by the way. They must have been accidentally all army hotkeyed around, and maybe they flew themselves into a bunch of spore crawlers, but currently no real detection available. Okay, finally, yeah, an observer did get close by, and that Ultra falls, but you can see that Astrea forced to sit back. Purification Nova. Oh my god, I thought one of those Ravagers had its toes into that Nova, but not quite the case apparently. Fungals? Yeah, no, this is not an angle you can fight into, Dark. Your army's not even remotely big enough. The Immortal count is also growing. Love to see that. Oh, that's one way though of nullifying those Immortals. Beautiful play right here by Dark as he uses the Neural Parasite to grab one of those Immortals and to force it to change allegiance. Alright. What a game. Very fun game. So this particular series is from the KSL, the Korean Starcraft League. Astrea is one of my favorite Koreans. Now, you can sign up from anywhere, but I do believe that Astrea is playing this game with the ping disadvantage. Unless Dark decided to be a gentleman and, you know, give up on that. I'm not exactly sure. I wish there was a way, actually, for me to figure out what server these games were being played on, because ping actually has a very significant impact on games. Say, for example, you see the banelings rolling to your mineral line, but, you know, you catch wind of it, like, a little late. Obviously, yeah, pulling the workers away at that point is going to be pretty tough. Right? Because everything will be delayed by, like, 0.3 seconds or so, and that's very, very significant. Finally, this gateway over here at the bottom of the map. It does get found. Now, I'll go ahead and post a link to the Patreon page of the KSL down below in the description of this video. Because that is the way in which they support this event. I've been casting quite a few of those replays over the years, so maybe not the years. It's probably coming up in about a year. Yeah, KSL has been around for a little while at this point. I'm personally a supporter of them as well, but it's not entirely selfless, because this is one of the ways in which I can get replays of StarCraft for me to go ahead and cast. Nice force food over there, preventing those links from coming in. Here's the infestors again, though. We need detection, Astrea. Where are the observers? We just have one, and it's kind of just part of this control group, but it's not ahead of the army. So notice this here. We do not really know exactly, as we once again have some probes falling, by the way, but we do not really know exactly where those infestors are. Infestors? Okay, now they're just joining the main army, and that means that a couple of those Immortals and a few of those Archons are changing sides. Quite nice set of, what do we call them? The Novas right there for Astrea, though, as he is gonna be able, oh my lord, to absolutely force this Zerg player away. Maybe the supply count is a little bit deceiving us. Because Dark's been like 50 supply up here for quite a while. And yet, this Protoss army holds its own just fine. Those Purification Novas are really good. 12 kills right here on one of them. Obviously, we had quite a few of them going down as well. Yeah, 4 of them in total. So, Astrea actually switching away from units that require a little bit of luck, right? Disruptors are nice as like a addition to your army, as once again we have a big Zerg counterattack absolutely tearing apart the eco. They're a great addition to your army, but they're very, very tough to rely on, right? You really do need a backbone of Immortals and Stalkers. Now the problem is, this is essentially the only army that Astrea is going to be able to produce in this game, because he's got no more economy. 23 probes only. Dark is absolutely tearing apart the bases on the other side of the map. And what has been an incredible game here, I think it's going to conclude, indeed, with the Zerg player obtaining the victory. Game number 2. We find ourselves on the map Alcyone. Now, I was just double checking my audio. I think everything's okay. I am planning on uploading this video today. So if there are any issues with the audio, please leave me some feedback down below in the comment section of this. Well, I hope there's not any feedback in my audio. That's what I'm trying to say. But if there are any issues with it, please let me know down below in the comment section of this video so I can fix it before tomorrow. I'll be, yeah, generally I don't really have a whole lot of videos prepared in advance and then upload them, you know, over the course of like a week or so. I don't usually do that. Most of the time I upload the video, I edit it on the same day as, you know, I also recorded it, so maybe that's not the best way of making YouTube videos, but it's the way that I like to do it. Anyways, it's going to be a quick gold base right here on Alcyone. Alrighty, Dark. It's gonna be a Nexus first from Astrea. Alrighty, Astrea. These are 2 of the builds of all time. This is, yeah, a little crazy. It should work out quite nicely, I guess, for Dark, because that gold base is gonna go up completely unhindered. I can't believe Astrea is 1-0 behind, and he's like, you know what? This is the moment to go for a Nexus first. Pylon is part of the wall of Nexus first. If Dark sees this, I mean, obviously there's no drone scouting or anything like that, right? He's not checking Astrea, that is. I would have loved to see him check. But if Dark decided to go for a proxy hatchery or a Ling cheese or anything along those lines... Ah, that's one way to figure this out. Love that, actually, from Astrea. I thought he was only gonna check the little wall off, but... Yeah, he is. Oh, that's actually so cute. So I think one thing you can do... And this is kind of difficult to explain, but I think one thing you can do is we do have the drones now transferring on over. Is, say you're the Protoss player in this instance, right? If you try to rally your probe, say right over here, you can probably look at the pathing that your probe is trying to take and figure out that indeed those minerals were mined out without actually having to see the minerals. Even though probes did not have vision of the mineral line, the pathing will still work through the fog of war. It's a... I'm not exactly sure if that is how it... I don't know. I think there is a way to figure this out. I've been wondering about that for a little bit already. So Astrea not actually getting confirmation of the hatchery itself, but he did use that same opening that Dark used to make the golden base to now go for a proxy in the bottom right. And this particular match is right off to a flying start again as well. So, Nexus first, double gateway. We're gonna rush a bunch of adepts. Those adepts, are they gonna go... Alright, I was gonna say, are they gonna go into the main base or are they gonna try and hunt down the golden minerals? Dark did, by the way, open up this back door too. Stargate here in the bottom right-hand corner. Where do we send it? I think you send it to the main base every time. Yeah. Another hatchery is building right now on the natural expansion of Dark. Adepts going around the site. This is tricky though, because obviously if Astrea does not slow down this push that Dark is cooking up right now. Oh, this is nice. Yeah. Snipe him. I've seen Dark go for a lot of timing attacks with queens from this exact same position. Now, what exactly are we gonna do with the Stargate? Astrea, come on. Go, 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 go. Oh, we're supply blocked? Oh, no. Well, that defeats the purpose of that proxy. At least the majority of it. Alright, it's just gonna be an oracle. Obviously, at this point, you may as well have made that, you know, over here, say, at the edge of the main base. And then, yeah, that supply block probably already slows it down enough. That's a little bit sloppy and a little unfortunate. Astrea trying to get, really fancy here and trying to outsmart the opponent, but it turns out the basic laws of thermodynamics and supply blocks still apply. I think. Anyway, I don't know. Roach 1 coming up. Maybe he can still deal damage, though. Yeah. I mean, I'm saying that, right? Maybe a regular good old Oracle would have also done a great job because there's nothing available in the main base. So even though this is late, it's still going to be able to kill a lot of workers. We do have to target fire properly. Okay. Alright. Not bad. Not bad at all. Roach Warren's already done. Roaches are coming up. I think we can march queens pretty easily. Problem is, normally you'd go for a queen march in the direction of the Protoss' third. There is no third. There will be one coming here eventually, but the question is, when is Astrea going to commit to this? Look at the worker count right now, by the way. Sure, maybe Dark has got a ton of bases, right? He's got 3 bases right now compared to the Protoss' 2. But he's got, 31 drones. 30 drones right now. And he's going up against the Protoss with full 2-base saturation. Astrea preparing some additional pylons right now, too. 1 pylon, 1 shield battery. Zerglings, by the way, have figured out that something is not quite right, and Probius here, he gets about a minute or so of meditation before his ultimate demise. Pay your respects to Probius in the comment section. This man, he was up to no good, but he lived an active life. Yeah. Live quick and die young was Probius' motto. And ultimately, that gateway did very little other than allow Probius a couple additional valuable seconds. Oh no! Oh, I forgot to rally that one a little further away. Oh no. Hello. Calm down. Alright. So, where are we at? 12 workers killed, loads of spore crawlers forced. I don't know if I love this situation though for Astrea. It's definitely an Astrea advantage, but it could have been so much better. You know, he could have recalled Probius. Probably one of the few things that would not make it better. But he could have, if he cared, if he had a heart, he could have recalled Probius. Obviously, he, should have not been supply blocked there. Probably would have been able to kill an extra drone or two. It all adds up very quickly. And this third base timing, as quick as the one was in the previous match, this one is super duper late. I understand why though, because Zerg can very easily, from the gold base, march on over in that direction. So with this particular timing, and I guess we did have a Nexus first, so maybe that makes up for some of that delay. Yeah, with this particular timing, I guess the Dark can't really go for a Queen March. Alright, so, Lara's going to finish up. Will this be a Spire, Swarm Hosts, Nidus Cheese, Quick Hive? What's it going to be, Dark? He's got a lot of different options. Alright, for now we're just gonna go Roaches with +1. Roach speed, second evolution chamber. Astrea's scouting around as well. He's wondering that same checklist, you know? Is this going to be a Spire, Quick Hive, Swarm Host, Nidus Worm? What am I going up against? So I do love this scout right here from that Oracle. Luckily it stayed alive too, because losing it would kind of suck. Well, turns out this is a ground-based army. Double Robo here for our Protoss. So he's going to be going into Immortals and Disruptors. Bailing Nest coming up, Infestation Pit coming up. So Dark actually playing very, well, other than the gold base first, playing relatively conventional. Yeah. I believe this series was played like the day or so before IEM Katowice, like before the travels to IEM Katowice, that is. So I've noticed that when Dark plays in smaller online cups, so the KSL is relatively small, he plays the games a bit differently. But this is so close to a premier event that he may just be giving his, you know, his strategies one final test, right? One final polish before ultimately committing to the event. You can tell that both of these guys are taking it very serious. Even though their build orders are a little memey, they are not messing around. Like, this is not Dark just throwing down, I don't know, a Nidus Worm and trying to get it over with, which is what he tends to do a lot in smaller cups and smaller events. Oh, no cancel! Yikes. We have loads of APM, but what are we using it for if we're not going to cancel the Nexus? That's 400 minerals down the drain. That's a big mistake. I notice I'm being far more critical right here of the way that Astrea is playing compared to Dark. It's just that Dark always plays like a bit of a donkey, right? Like, you look at his games, you're like, okay, Dark. Ah, you hit a supply block again, Dark. Hey, what are you... Dark, but like, he does this all the time. And I've been very critical of Dark's decisions in the past. Beautiful set of force fields. Decent corrosive biles as well, trying to land them, but that set of biles, or not biles rather, Novas, has been really good. All right, Astrea, do we have a prism? We do not have a prism. Why do we not have an observer here either? Oh, we do have an observer, I was gonna say. Looks like the Zerglings at least got pushed back. Banelings? Oh god, that's a lot of Banelings. They're so slow. Astrea, please tell me. I'm gonna look at Astrea's vision here. This is Astrea's vision. Okay, he does seem to pull the probes away. There's the Diva announcer. Your units are under attack! So those slow Banes still ended up killing 11 probes. A bit of a shame. But I guess the gold base will also end up falling here. Archon ends up going down. Okay, good splits right there on the Roaches in the end. Man, imagine if we had a prism here, huh? So we could actually, like, juggle the units. I think that might still be enough, though. Astrea's starting to break through a lot of this army. They're attacking your base, you know. That's one of the Diva voice lines that I absolutely hate. The worst Diva announcer voice line in StarCraft 2, so that's the one you just heard from Astrea. That's this. We can hear it in a moment, I'm sure.
That field's been mined out.
That field's been mined out. Hope you have an expansion. So she has an alternative line to that one. That goes, you're all out of minerals, but there's plenty of rocks. My main problem with that one is that she will still say it even when there are not plenty of rocks remaining, right? And there are no more mineral fields. She will still say that voice line. I know. What I'm trying to say is that I hate it whenever my science fiction video game is not 100% realistic. Yeah, terrible. All right, so where exactly are we at right now? Both players have been stabbing each other, but they've been stabbing each other with very dull knives. You know, they've been trying their very best to create as much chaos as possible, but ultimately, oh, this is really good for Astrea. That was expensive. Ultimately, both of them are, yeah, in a very playable position. Now we are going into the late game. +3 coming up for the Zerg. Protoss maybe a little bit behind there as far as the technology goes, but you can stick around on a ground-based army for now. With real Protoss late game, I don't really think so much about a ground-based army, but usually more about a Skytles-based army, but this is very robo-heavy. Look at that. We have a bunch of Immortals, a whole lot of Disruptors, some Archons in the mix too. This is a very top-tier ground-based unit comp. Astrea, for some reason, decided to do an attack over here with Zealots and Archons? Okay, that was one of the attacks of all time. He's like, yo, bro, have some units. They were supposed to be Zergling killers, but the problem is that Adrenal Glands at this point is done. So again, those Zerglings, they basically have Stimpack. Oh, no. All right, Hero taking a page... Oh, sorry, Astrea taking a page out of Hero's book. Recall used to watch the third base to try and take some of those units down there. Battery overcharge is going to keep this alive, but... So much chaos, right? And this ultimately just buys so much time. Oh, big Nova over here in the middle of the map, or at least a cancel. Astrea moving forward. Apparently he wants his reinforcements to deal with these Zerglings, which may very well work out, but then at the same time he's expanding. So, don't love that sequence of events. Then again, Dark only has a very small amount of workers here in the grand scheme of things. He's only at 72 drones. 72 drones is really not that much for a Zerg. Yeah, a Zergling Baneling based army here, right? Like, this is one of those unit compositions that's relatively expensive. I mean, I call it Zergling Baneling mostly because he's gonna transition away whenever Roaches and Ravagers die. I don't think he's really gonna add more of them into the mix. Although he might. There's no Hydra Den or Greater Spire or anything else. Hatchery here getting killed on the left side. Good catch right there by Astrea. Loads of Zealots being set up, and you know what? Ooh, that Nova, yes! Big one. Oh, very quick cancel right there by Dark to try and keep these units alive. That's probably what happened over here in the middle of the map too. Okay. Zerg counterattack. I would love to see a Greater Spire, actually. I'm a little surprised that we have not had any of those units that are high tier for the Zerg, other than some spellcasters. I did see a Viper, yeah. Alright, it's got full energy. Don't really know if it's done much. Immortals being killed by the unit that they swore to destroy. Storm coming up. My issue right here for Astrea is that if this would be a Sky Zerg transition, right? So say this would be a Broodlord transition. Wonder what he's gonna do against it. None of his units are good against that. Like, Broodlords, just about 10 of them would kill this entire Protoss base. He's adding on more Immortals. He's not scouting for it. He does not know what he's playing against. Now, coincidentally, Dark has decided to give Astrea the benefit of the doubt. So, like, it's Lingbane Roach Ravager, right? Like, this is a great army against that particular army of the Zerg. It's just that normally Zerg would not be sticking around. So we do have some creative burrow usage. Normally Zerg would not be sticking around. Archons would have been nice. Only one gets morphed in. I think ultimately only one of the Templar ended up falling. Immortals here, forced to protect against... Oh no, more Immortals get recalled. Oh jeez. Sorry. I have devolved into commentating by action noise only. There are still some Zerglings rather burrowed on the ground. In the meantime, push over here on the right side. This is Dark doing dark things, man. He could make this easier on himself, but maybe he's also doing a bit of experimentation. Immortals? Alright. Together with that Archon, they will be able to kill those Lings and prevent that hatchery, or that Protoss hatchery, from dying. Okay. Yeah, I think Dark is making this unnecessarily difficult for himself. There's the Nexus. Dark being a bit of a bully here, really, right? Like, he fully knows. So you may be wondering, Lowko, why is he not transitioning? Like, why are we doing this? Well, first off, there's always a chance that you're gonna be facing off against Astrea as well in, for example, IEM Kijkwijzer, right? That tournament that just wrapped up. There's always that chance, and if you are concerned about such things, why would you play your ultimate unit composition? Why would you play your very best strategies? Astrea will surely be remembering the amount of time here that Dark is sticking around on a ground-based army. What's really funny to me is that Astrea has been forced into this, right? A very immortal-heavy ball of units, a very counter-ground-based ball of units. Dark decides to go Ultra Cavern. Like, Ultra Cavern is probably the worst choice against this particular style. Like, Ultras are very good when Protoss is without, well, robo units, and there are plenty of those. Ultimately, I don't think this is very clever here by Dark, but then again, Dark does dark things. And I am a massive fan of that man. He's doing all of this off of only 72 workers. You know what? The longer that this goes on, the more I like it for Astrea, but not necessarily because of the decisions that Astrea has been making. Like, this is also a terrible move out. Why are we moving out? What was that ever going to achieve? No idea. We're just marching around. Marching around for the sake of marching around. Maybe it's good for the morale of the troop or something, but other than that, it's... Can we not, like, try to counter Zerglings with Immortals? No Storm available in these bad boys either. In the meantime, Banelings are going around the side. The vibe I'm getting from this, right? And maybe I'm looking into this a little bit too much, but the vibe that I'm getting is that Dark is doing it on purpose, and Astrea is basically, you know, his house is on fire, but he's waving, or he's fanning the flames, you know? Like, it's a different approach. I think Dark is doing this with a cheeky little smile on his face, and Astrea's like, there's Zerg, the Zerg is everywhere, it hurts, it burns, it stings, right? Like, that's the vibe that I'm getting here. Great Aspire is coming, though. So my prayers have been heard. That's nice. Zerglings finally unable to counter literally everything here. Has Astrea seen any Ultras yet? I don't think so, no. There's only one Ultra here coming up. What if this is just for bait? What if Dark is gonna, like, gallop his Ultralisk around the Protoss bases? He's like, I'm going Ultras, I'm going Ultra, and then boom. He's forcing out Immortals and he goes into Greater Spire units instead. This is the bait Tralisk. Yeah, just to try and bait the Protoss. Look at him. He's just parking it on a watchtower. Believe it or not, Zerglings do as good a job as, well, an Ultralisk does on the watchtower. Loads of links going towards the right side of the map. Loads of probes are going to fall here. You know what, though? All of this being said and done, I mean, now I start to like it a lot more for the Zerg, but up until this point, I don't think it's been that bad for Astrea. He's just been making some really, yeah, rudimentary errors. I mean, why move out with an Archon? That was such a weird move out, and he's done it like 4 times now. Sometimes I guess you can maybe make your way towards this hatchery, but Dark is very clearly making mass Zergling. And Immortals, like Immortal Zealot move out, unless in very large numbers, just don't cut it. Especially if you have a few Storms available. I would have kind of liked to see that, you know? A couple High Templar in the mix. Okay, now this is nice. Good job, yep. But now he sees the Brute Lords. Yeah, what do we do against Brute Lords? So what's the plan? Okay. I think the plan is to probably slowly lose the game. So I guess Archons can technically be in range because they are ranged units, but they're also some of the shortest range in the entire game. It's probably like a range of 2. I don't really know. I think Brute Lords are like range 9, I want to say. Here's another move out. This time around, okay, we do have some Templar in the mix. I love this hit squad a whole lot better, especially if they stay together. Zerglings in the meantime trying to get in, but not really achieving too much. Brute Lords, though, just still throwing their children at that Nexus. But this is a much nicer move out here by our Protoss. That hatchery in a world of trouble, and it is going to go down. Storms land on the Zerglings that are trying to clean all of this up, and that's not going to happen. In the meantime, though, the Nexus has fallen. Zerglings burrowed everywhere. Astrea does see them, because they're right next to... Diva, sorry. They are within range of that photon cannon. So obviously, if you can get all of your Stalkers underneath Brute Lords, that can, well, work out very well, but that should never happen. Like, Dark could actually just make more Brute Lords here. Normally, I think 8 to 12 Brutes is good, so in this case, we have 6. But I think against this Protoss army, you could make 20. Like, there is no intention right here for Astrea to make any Tempest or Carriers or anything along those lines. Yeah, I think what Dark is doing here is just making more of those Corruptors, and you can happily go ahead and make more Brutes here. And obviously, Brute Lords are relatively slow. That Protoss, that Archon here, 6 HP remaining. Anyways, Brute Lords are relatively slow. Even after the new multiplayer balance patch, I mean, they are a bit quicker, but they're still relatively slow. I think you just, yeah, run circles around it and try to build up the Stalker Archon Ball. Astrea could always initiate like a base race, I suppose. But I'm not sure if I'm in love with this situation right here. Like, I look at this army and I'm a little afraid that Brute Lords are just gonna tear it apart. So Ultras and Brute Lords are the name of the game right here for Dark. I think Dark could have made the transition towards these units quite a while ago. But we ultimately got there. Now, one thing that is missing here for Dark is a confirmation, right? He doesn't know that this is not a full-on Skytles transition. Luckily for him, that's not the case. But if suddenly a round of carriers show up, this, yeah, would make the game very, very difficult. Okay. So in a straight-up fight, Astrea's army will lose every time. This isn't even really with a lot of spellcasters yet, right? Imagine a few Archons and... Or, sorry, a couple Infestors here and Vipers. I mean, that would be incredible. One thing, though, I guess that Astrea can do is split up his units and go for, like, yeah... a bit of a push on the left, whilst all of the Brutes are distracted on the right. Still though, this is a very Ravager, Ultralisk heavy army too. Not that many Zerglings, but 5 Ultras is not bad. I think there's still plenty, yeah. Nah, Dark still definitely has enough here to defend at home too. Rest of the Protoss army though, trying to get this around. Brute Lords out of position. This Nexus has finished up. New Nexus coming up north as well. Astrea with some really good army movement here. I love the way he's bringing everything back together. Ultimately, though, the Brute Lords are flanking this. Yeah, and he just cannot fight the Brute Lords. So, there's more Brute Lords right now than there are Stalkers. Zergling counterattack. Lovely Zergling counterattack. Some of the units will be recalled. Okay. You could even split up your Brutes. I think if you, like, leave, like, 4 Brute Lords over here, it would not be a terrible idea. Anyways, now apparently the Ultralisk ball has been used to move on over towards the right side of the map and try to go after that Nexus. Still no answer, though, here by our Protoss against the Sky Zerg. So, Brute Lords here are just not countered. Cool guys don't look at explosions. These Ultras apparently not cool guys. They definitely looked at the explosions, but... +2 air weapons coming up right here for Dark. Yeah, I think these are probably just kept over here. So they're just gonna chill over here in case there's a counterattack, because these units have a very hard time getting underneath. Together with Queens and around the Zerglings, maybe an Ultra or 2, these Brutes are actually very huge, and They can just hang out there, and then this army can be used for the offense instead. So we now have multiple control groups of Brute Lords, just because Astrea is not respecting them at all. So, what Astrea is doing in this game right now kind of reminds me a little bit of what Dark was doing in this game earlier, where he was going Ultras against somebody who had Mass Immortal. Astrea is still going basically Mass Immortal, but this time around against Brute Lords, which is a strangely stubborn way to play the game. Yep, so this is now 2 control groups of Brutes. And I love it, I think it's very clever. We rarely ever see multiple control groups like that of the same unit. Maybe of Zerglings or so, right? But look at this. Oh my god, this is so painful. Astrea getting absolutely torn apart in the main fight, losing so many of his very expensive units. And now Dark is on the hunt. Yep, these Brutes are being left at home, 6 of them. Perfect amount, I think, to defend against that run-by group. And the run-by group has now been, well, pushed all the way back. It seems like Astrea's win condition here was to try and just blink underneath the Brute Lords and hope he gets lucky. Now, I don't think that's a very good strategy. Trying to get lucky against one of the world-class Zergs is... yeah, just not that smart of an idea, man. This it's kind of like trying to run past airport security, you know? Like, try to make your flight by skipping the airport security checks. I mean, that's a bad idea. I don't think you should do that. That's how you get arrested, Astrea. Why are we doing it? You should just queue up and make Skytles like the rest of us. Okay. So I think what's happening right now is that Dark is boxing his opponent in. There may be a recall available, so some of the army can escape. Huh? Actually? Dark is expecting the army to go all the way around. Okay. He's trying to force the issue. I actually kind of like this movement again, though, from Astrea. Really good army movement. He's forcing this entire Zerg ball to go back home because he wants to do the base race. Astrea does not want to address the main army. He wants to try and see if he can kill all of his opponent's structures before Dark can do the same thing to him. Now, the Brutes, yeah, they are much better now than they used to be. And coming back home. They heard it's almost dinner time, so... alright, a preemptive storm. Cool, I guess. Zerglings still running around. Ultra together with... oh, alright. Ultra together with some Ravagers trying their very best. Some of the Brute Lords are in the main. They are going to be trapping the army that's going to be forced to recall, and that means that this unit comp over here is in a world of trouble. Yep. I mean, Astrea tried to outpace his opponent, right? I like what he's doing here in the sense that he is trying to win with a unit composition that's not supposed to win. It can still work out if you go up against a Zerg who's making critical errors. And Dark did make a few of them, I think. The army movement here from the Zerg has not been quite as good as that of the Protoss. I really like the way that Astrea has been maneuvering his army around and trying to predict where the Zerg is going to be showing up next. But ultimately... I mean, he's now trying to kill about, I want to say about 15 Brute Lords with like 4 Stalkers. And that's never gonna be an easy time.